Welcome once again to the Dear Rach Show. Today I'm joined by an author and a former amateur natural bodybuilder competitor, Richard Webb. Thanks for joining me.
Good to be here, Dennis. Thank you for having me.
Well, great to have you here, Richard, and thank you for accepting my invitation. I really want to talk to people who are interested when it comes to wellness and making themselves look fit and also feel well. So if you could just kind of give us a background of your trajectory in life, it's kind of an interesting trajectory. So how did you become a bodybuilder and eventually an author?
Well, it was kind of a funny story, at least to me. When I was 43, I met with a couple of high school buddies that I'm still very close with, and we were sitting around and saying, "Hey guys, we're in our 40s. We were all athletes at one point in high school. One of them was, or two of them, other than me. The other two were actually college athletes. I wasn't necessarily in college sports, but we decided that the two would challenge the other one to something physical, and they chose for me to compete in a bodybuilding contest. And the goal was to compete within the next time we met, because we met every year to go skiing or sometime in March to go do something. And we were in a Tampa airport, and that's where we decided that we would challenge. The two would challenge the one to some kind of physical contest, and mine was a bodybuilding contest because I'd always kept in pretty good shape. So, and then that got me into bodybuilding, and I really enjoyed it. So that's what, and I did natural contests only, and so that was kind of what fueled my health kick.
That's really interesting, and obviously from there you also decided that you could share your knowledge, share your expertise when it comes to nutrition, wellness, and bodybuilding, and obviously as a result of labor of love, so to speak, you have now your book. So can you tell us about this book and who is this aimed for?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it changed my path forever. And so the interesting thing about it was that I was spending 16 plus hours a week working out, getting ready for this contest. And, I didn't embarrass myself, but I competed in a class with 40 to 49-year-olds. And it was my first contest. I didn't seek a lot of help. I did have a mentor in Carlsbad, California, and he helped me, but I really did it on my own. I did a lot of reading, I did a lot of research, but I was spending 16 hours a week doing physical exercise in the gym. And at the time I was married with two small kids, and that was pretty hard to do. But nevertheless, what I found was after that contest, I placed 12 out of 12 competitors, but I didn't embarrass myself. I looked decent. I mean, but I took a lot of feedback from A, the judges, but B, the other competitors, because it was my first contest. And I was clearly outclassed in that competition. There were some really good competitors. It was a natural contest. It was the 2006 Max Naturals contest, and I think it was Costa Mesa, California. And I learned a lot from those, mainly the competitors, but the judges gave me a little bit of time, and I got some feedback. And my size and my symmetry was actually spot on, but what wasn't good was everyone said I needed about 6 more weeks of fat reduction dieting. But what I learned, the thing that I came away with is I thought there's got to be a better way. Who has time to do 16 hours a week of working out? So I didn't compete again. I knew I wanted to compete again, but I wanted to learn and study how I could do this more efficiently. And what I learned was, after doing 3 years of research before I competed again, and what I found was that I could get the same, if not, better results actually, by working out differently and eating differently. So I came up with a plan that I could get better results in 4 hours a week. So that's 75% savings of time. So I could do 4 hours a week workout, diet a little bit differently, and my results on my competitions got better and better, and ultimately I ended up winning the Masters division on Muscle Beach, the famed Muscle Beach contest, back to back, and then also won the novice lightweight division as well. So the results speak for themselves. So that's I felt like I had to write about it. And you asked, who's the audience? I think the audience is 4 hours a week. I think it's really geared towards a busy executive or somebody who wants to get the most out of fitness, but has a busy life otherwise. And that's why the subtitle of my book is Efficiency and Fitness. Fat Burning Secrets, it's efficiency and fitness. So that's pretty much the elevator spiel, if you will.
Yeah. And it really speaks for itself, that the title. You're absolutely right, Richard, that we're really time conscious nowadays. So if we could actually maximize that time to achieve our fitness goals, and obviously with the help of your book, that will really be fantastic. Now, for anyone who's watching this, I'll pop the link to your book so anyone could have a look at it. But I was just wondering, because you mentioned earlier that you were quite independent when you were doing your bodybuilding work. But I was wondering if you were also quite independent when it comes to marketing your book. Have you consistently marketed your book in any way?
Well, so the first edition of the book was self-published on Amazon in 2009, and I did a second publication, second edition in 2015. I have not been consistent on marketing the health of my book, and I thought it was just because it's a crowded market and I couldn't win in that market. But you know what? I sense I've always done it myself, done the marketing myself. I also run a digital marketing agency, so I know how to do it. So yeah, so I've always done it myself, and it's a hard thing to do. The health industry is quite busy, and there's a lot of I think there's a lot of noise in the health industry, especially when it comes to fitness. So.
Well, you've mentioned about noise, Richard, and obviously one of the noisiest places when it comes to marketing is social media. So I was just wondering if you've tapped into that platform, because you mentioned earlier that you were also have your own marketing agency. So what about social media? How did you sort of capitalize on that platform?
Well, I found that Instagram, obviously I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I recently have started using TikTok, and obviously on LinkedIn. But I find that social media is a good platform, in particular TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, by the way. I have that YouTube series, 2 Minutes to a Better You. And obviously, one of the things I learned on my digital marketing side is that the short form video is quite popular. So that's basically all I've been doing is short form video on all the platforms. So.
Now, Richard, in preparation for this interview, I made a few research when it comes to your approaches to, like sharing your knowledge and experience. And I realized that you just turned 60. And when I look you up, I realized that a couple of articles about you actually scrutinizing the methods you're using in your workout. So what do you have to say to your critics?
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good point. I've seen the articles, and in particular, they're scrutinizing one of the principles I use in my workouts to shorten them is that you do 3 full body workouts a week, separated by at least one day where you do cardio on those other 2 days. And then I basically just rest the weekend. So I might do something active like take the dogs down to the beach or do some yard work. But basically I don't work out or do physical specifically physical exercise for benefit on the weekends. But the full body workouts, you do compound workouts, compound exercises generally where you're working on more than one body part. But you do just one set. And the principle we use for that is time under tension. So you're keeping the muscle under tension for at least 60 seconds. Generally, I'm looking at like 75 seconds for one set where I'm never like a barbell curl, a bicep curl. You're just keeping it going for 4 seconds. Hold on the contraction for 4 seconds. I'm using bands, and then let it down for 4 seconds. So time under tension is under scrutiny. I've had a lot of people contact me saying that doesn't work. And Dennis, I'm 60 years old. I haven't had a problem with time under tension, and I've used this workout for over 15 years. So
Yeah.
that's the big scrutiny, is the time under tension to be able to grow muscles.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of your key message here, Richard, is that overall you really have to consider your fitness goals, and you have to have a balanced routine. So you just have to explore what actually works for you. And I would imagine you would also say that to everyone who's watching your content, be it on TikTok or on YouTube. Of course, Richard, I just realized that that on your workouts you mentioned that you require a gym equipment, but you posted that since COVID hit, you've been rarely been in the gym. So how is that possible? It's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it?
That's true. When COVID hit, my gym closed, like many, and so I had already started using bands for when I traveled, like in a hotel room. And so I just completely adapted all my exercises in the book to home workouts using bands and workout bars, and documented it on my website. And they can go to that if I can say the URL. fatburningsecretsathome.com goes directly to that page, and it's a page on my website that shows all of the home videos that I've created, the home workout videos that have adapted the workouts to my book, from my book. But I can't, I continue to not go to a gym now. I've been to a gym sometime traveling, but since COVID hit, I've probably been to a gym a dozen times. The rest of it is all at home.
I think it may sound cliche, but I think that's one of the things that we actually learned from lockdown. We became more creative when it comes to doing things that we used to, we have to do outdoors. A lot of things now we do really indoors. And I think exercise and being fit is one of those things. But of course, Richard, this is actually part of your online course. And from my understanding, you've also rebranded your online course recently. So if you could just walk me through this, and just for the benefit of everyone who's watching us, what was your online course before, and what prompted you to change this?
Well, the online course before was actually called Diet Like a Bodybuilder, because actually I think that, and my goal was to teach the average person. I've recently rebranded everything under the Fat Burning Secrets term, and the course is now called Fat Burning Secrets Solutions. And the reason I rebranded is because I think the word bodybuilder might bother some people and think that's too much for me. That's not what I'm looking for. But really, the course, Fat Burning Secrets Solutions course, it doesn't even go into workout or exercise. That course is basically showing you how a bodybuilder goes through and manages their total daily expended energy in calories, and compares that to their total intake of calories per day, and how they manage that when they're dieting down, or when they're actually. The course could also shows you how you could do it to gain muscle if you wanted to. So, during that time, I had several bodybuilders and competitors that were brand new to the game come in and take that course, and were very happy with it because it showed them how to manage their macronutrients, how to eat for their body type, all of that. But I thought that doesn't make sense, because I think everybody could learn from how, because nobody manages their calories in and calories out like a bodybuilder when they're getting ready for a competition. That's one thing I learned during my competition days. And I think that everybody could learn from that, because it's not, because losing weight in implementation is very hard, but the solution is relatively simple. I mean, it's relatively a simple thing. And if you can manage that right, eating for your body type and making sure that you expend more calories than you consume over an extended period of time, it's really pretty simple. So now the course is more geared towards, I would say, anybody who's just getting into the bodybuilding world that wants to look at the how do bodybuilders manage their calories, their macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats. But really, I think that if the average person did that, they could manage themselves and burn fat for a living as a lifestyle, as the way I do it. So.
And I think, Richard, when it comes to rebranding your online course, I think it's really a good decision, because when you mentioned the word bodybuilding, it really kind of, like conjure all of stereotypes that it's really catering for those guys who want to gain muscles. And of course, it's really important that we manage our weight. Just to throw in some data here, I was looking at these articles, and it says here that even a weight loss of 5% to 10% of your total body weight is likely to produce health benefits, such as improvement of blood pressure, blood cholesterol, and blood sugar. So it's really, I suppose, no matter what your age is, it's really important that you look after your weight. So it's really good that you're offering these online courses. But now that you have rebranded this, I was just wondering, what are you observing from your online course students? Are they the kind of people who just, want to be fit, or do you still kind of attract those people who want to gain muscles?
Well, I think, the majority of people that are taking the course now are more not even looking to, they don't really want to exercise, they just want to learn how to eat better. Not necessarily, and again, in my course, I don't even go into what to eat, because I think if you're talking about a person who has gone through and failed at various weight loss programs, and the reason I think they fail is because they fail to see results, because results are motivating, right? If you start doing anything for the first time and you don't see results for a long time, your motivation's gone. So they get in and they see results, and we don't even tell them what to eat. We take their existing diet. The course doesn't tell them what to eat, just tells them, start managing your diet. Here's how you track what you're eating. Don't change what you're eating, just track what you're eating. And they say, oh, okay. And just by doing that, mm-hmm. they're going to change what they eat. Even though I don't tell them to, they're going to say, oh, I'm drinking that many Starbucks, or oh, I'm having that, and that has that many calories. But then they learn to eat for their body type. And when they start eating for their body type, the macronutrients change. The amount of carbs for an ectomorph is different, for example, for a carb for an endomorph or a mesomorph. So, and proteins and fats as well. So then they learn that. And then what I'm learning is that some of these people, not all of them, but some of these people come in to the course and they want to just learn how to first, they find out how many calories should I eat if I want to weigh this much. Okay, well, my body fat calculator on my website shows them exactly how to do that. Shows them exactly, how many calories do I need for my total daily expended energy, and how much do I need to maintain? How much do I need to do like a 15% calorie drop, or how much do I need to gain if I want to gain more weight? So that's all in there. And so some of them come through that like that. And then one of the things that I offer as bonuses for all of my, at least US clients, actually all of my clients, It's just the US clients get the paperback versions of both my books, Fat Burning Secrets, Efficiency and Fitness, as well as the Fat Burning Secrets cookbook. And so some of these people come into this just saying, I want a fat loss, but then they think, oh my God, what? This is exactly what I need. Now I feel better, and now I feel energized. But wait a minute, what if I ate better? What if I worked out? Well, they have my books, either in digital format, ebook format if they're outside the US, but in the US, they get the paperback format as well. And they say, well, let's read that and start working out. And then some of them completely change their goals from just weight loss to health management and being healthy. So it's a full natural approach to health, weight loss, and exercise.
And I think I like your approach here, because you said you're not really there to sort of like give prescriptions. It's not really prescriptive. You know, you're not making a list of things to do and things not to do, or things to eat and things not to eat. So you're more of a motivational kind of guy when you're, you know, giving your online courses, and also when it comes to your book. But I also noticed, Richard, that you have a sort of an affirmation product, if you will. And this affirmation product is very compelling, according to your social media posts when I check it. But what do you think a lot of people seem to be engaging in these affirmation products?
So yeah, I think this differentiates my product, my fat loss course, from anything else out there, is because, you know, and I think this really speaks to your audience, you know, the body's not going to go anywhere the mind hasn't been, right? So one of the things that I think that, you know, by the age of 35, I've done a lot of research on this with Joe Dispenza and, you know, all these other professionals in this field. So I don't claim to be a professional in this field, but I've done a lot of research on it and followed these guys. And you know what? How do we get, by 35, our personality is pretty much set. But by 35, some of it may have been set by you, but the majority of it is set by what you've heard from other people, what you've heard from your parents up through age 7, you know, kind of defines who you are. And I think that the way you've learned the repetitive things that you do is through repetition. So my response to that is, how do you change that? You got to change that at the subconscious level. You can't change it consciously. You've got to change it subconsciously. So, and how do you do that? Repeating things to your subconscious mind. So for every one of my clients that come in and take the online course, they get a 15-minute affirmation. And I send them emails and I ask them, okay, so here's your affirmation. Here's your goals, rather. Your goals are, I want to lose weight. One person told me that, you know, I have a pair of jeans that I wore when I was in high school, and I would love to get back on those jeans. And I replied to her an email and I said, oh, so if you have those jeans, get those jeans out. You need to see them every day. If that's what made you feel good about being that size, you need to feel that way now to get there. You've got to do that. And so my affirmations to that person were, I want to fit into my high school jeans. I remember how I felt when I looked at myself in those jeans in the mirror. I remember that. And so the emotions evoke, the emotion evoking visualization statements, along with the affirmations about their goals. The I am 125 pounds, or I am 150 pounds, whatever your target is, or I am a size 2 or a size 3. The I am affirmations around your goals, plus the visualization statements, repeating all the time. One of my social media posts talks about going to affirmations.works, affirmations.work, WORK. And on that page, I used affirmations with visualization statements to fuel my win on my first Muscle Beach contest, where I talked about, I visualize standing on the stage at Muscle Beach. I can see the Pacific Ocean. I feel the stage under my feet. I appreciate my competitors, and I talked about how I heard the announcer saying runner up, third place, fourth place, and at that point I knew I won. So I was going through that at least 12 weeks before I actually stepped on that stage. So by the time I got on that stage, I was already the winner. I was already the winner. That's just the way it is. I mean, you can convince yourself through the affirmations around your goals and the visualization statements, evoking emotion, because that's the motivation for anything. That's the motivation. You want to be successful at any goal, you've got to repeat that goal. You've got to feel that goal. You've got to feel the passion. So that's what sets my online course apart from anybody else's.
Absolutely. Now, Rachel, when you mentioned that scenario about the jeans that no longer fits with you, I think that resonates for everyone, including myself, because it's really true. As you age, you gain more pounds, and those clothes I used to wear, that you just have to get rid of them. And so it's really important that you kind of like visualize that your body changes in relation to your fitness goal. But listening to you talk about affirmation and visualization, it sounded to me like on a much bigger scale. So this is like going outside within the realm of health. So do you see yourself branching out beyond health?
Yeah, I do see myself eventually branching out beyond health, because I think affirmations are so much more powerful done around any goal that you have. So yeah, I do see myself branching out a little bit beyond health, but I'm really just enjoying the process at this point. So I'm working on plans towards that end. Maybe 2024.
I'm a bit nosy, Richard. So you said you're considering that. So you've written a book and you have a wealth of knowledge to share. So what's next for you?
Well, I have a couple of books in mind. A couple of them are not health related, more along motivation related, and basically writing my story, how I used motivation and affirmations and visualization statements to get where I am. So I'm very proud of my story, and I know that you've had a great story. I listened to a podcast, you were interviewed, and you've got a great story too. You've got to love your process, and you've got to appreciate your process. And I think I want to write about that. So that's probably something coming out in 2024 for me.
Okay. Well, good luck on that, Richard, and thank you for listening to a podcast that I guested on. But we're already approaching towards the end of this interview, so I just want to hear something more personal, the human side of Richard, so to speak. So I have a couple of questions for you. The first one is, what's the most challenging thing about what you're doing, whether as an author or as a fitness expert?
Well, the author is there's just so many books on Amazon. So getting your book seen is always a challenge. So I think the marketing is the biggest challenge in this extremely noisy market. But the other challenge is that I'm not a coach, and I get a lot of people approaching me for one-on-one work, and that's just not where my passion is. I've done it with a couple of people. For example, on my website, you'll find a guy named Lawrence that lived here in this town with me for a while, and it was just an experiment I wanted to do to prove that my fat burning secret workouts worked really well, and he was one of those examples. For example, that he was able to lose body fat but gain weight, and he was 53 years old at the time. So yeah, it's just the challenge is breaking through the noise in marketing, in the fitness industry. but I don't see that challenge any different than any industry nowadays.
Absolutely. Well, even in my case, that's also a challenge. You have to get through that noise to have yourself heard. But Richard, what were you afraid of as a child?
I was afraid of the dark when I was a young kid. Um, but yeah, that was my biggest fear as a very young child, afraid of the dark.
Okay. And what is your favorite word in another language?
Um, Bonita. I speak a little Spanish. I've been down in Mexico for almost 7 years, and
Bonita is
Bonita.
pretty, isn't it?
What's that?
Bonita is pretty. Am I
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's a lovely language. And finally, Richard, if you weren't an author or you did not become a bodybuilder, what would you have pursued in life?
Well, I spent 35 years in software technology, mainly on the software quality assurance side. And I left that in 2022 and am doing the fitness full time because it is truly my passion. But technology has also been my passion, and I still do the digital marketing as well, but I've got other people doing it in my company. So it frees me up to do the health, and I really enjoy helping people. It's a labor of love, and I love the feedback I get from people. So I'll continue to do that as long as I live.
Lovely. And finally, Richard, the floor is all yours. Any final thoughts to anyone who's watching this?
Yeah, I guess one piece of advice, if I could give just one piece of advice, first thing you do in the morning, meditate. Find a way to meditate because you need to connect with your inner self rather than connecting to the world first thing in the morning. Don't turn on your phone. Don't check it, Instagram. Don't check your email. Don't check your text messages. Connect with yourself for the first 30 minutes to an hour of your day. And you'll be so much happier.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's really power in disconnecting. I've just been on holiday in Southeast Asia, and I did not check social media,
Okay.
and it really felt nice not to check your Twitter, not to check your Facebook. But Richard, we'll leave it there. I'll put all of your links to your book, Fat Burning Secrets, Efficiency in Fitness. I'll put that link on the description note, and also the links to your social accounts that will be in the description note as well. Well, Richard, author of Fat Burning Secrets, Efficiency and Fitness, and a former amateur bodybuilder, it's great to have you here on the DRH show.
Dennis, I appreciate you having me on.